Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor and we're back for another live stream. And the tone of this one is a bit different because war has broken out, all right? We have a huge escalating conflict at the moment. Market is reacting from it. And in this live stream, we'll be discussing crypto, okay? We're not going to talk about politics and things like that. We'll bring it up, but only with how it relates to the market and to volatility in the market. But anyways, hope everyone is safe out there. Hope everyone is doing okay. Be sure to smash up that like button on your way in here. And let's get into this live stream and start out like we always do with our crypto market overview. So, looking at the market right now, crypto bubbles top 100. We do have mostly red out there, okay? If we look at the liquidation heat map and we look at the total liquidations over the past 24 hours, we have seen $1.12 billion liquidated. Mainly, this is only coming from longs, okay? Over 90% of this $1.12 billion is on the long side. As you can see, basically $1 billion of liquidations on longs have been taken out over the past 24 hours. And why is this all happening? Well, this is all happening because Israel launches strikes on Iran, okay? We have a big escalating conflict out there between Israel and Iran, and this is causing a lot of fear, a lot of selling, a lot of panic in the markets. Now, it goes without saying, we've seen time and time again how a war headline, a war starting, usually causes a huge spike down, and oftentimes this results in just a knee-jerk reaction that quickly gets bought back up. So in this live stream, I want to spend a lot of time talking about this question. Is this going to repeat? Are we going to see this big spike down in Bitcoin and altcoins result in just a fear knee-jerk reaction sell-off only to get immediately bought back up? We'll be spending some time discussing that in this stream, okay? But first, let's start off looking at all of the majors and not just Bitcoin. We're going to start on Bitcoin. So as we can see here, Bitcoin did not actually show any strength over here at the Monday, in the Monday range, I should say. Okay, it never deviated from the Monday high. Most altcoins spiked up well above their Monday highs, all right? And that would have been the Monday high or the Monday range trade for the week. But anyways, Bitcoin never swept its Monday high. It just came back into this daily supply zone and it rejected again. All right, the daily fair value gap over here was not respected whatsoever. All right, and we also saw price spike down below the monthly open, and we saw a low of $102,600. Back inside of the middle of our previous range. Remember, our previous range is this orange shaded box over here. So we spiked down into that, into this daily demand level over here. And we have seen a positive reaction so far. So the main question is, of course, is this it? Is the selling over? Are we going to just start to resume from now? Or are things going to get worse? And are we going to see escalation and lower prices? Well, that's the question that everybody wants to know the answer to, of course. Now, let's discuss that. So we still have the weekly fair value gap over here on Bitcoin. All right, and this is just below the range low at 100K. Price previously came into this, and we saw a really positive reaction back to 110K. All right, I wouldn't really be shocked at all if Bitcoin did go deeper into this weekly fair value gap. Why do I say that? Well, of course, we want to match things up. And looking at USDT dominance, it once again, remember how last live stream that I did a few days ago, we were discussing the pullback scenario? I was looking for a shallow pullback. This is more than a shallow pullback, okay? The level we were looking for in USDT dominance was over here at like 4.75, 4.8%, this red supply area. It just came right through it, and it came right back up to 4.90%. Right, that level over here on the daily that we've had marked for a long, long time, that resulted in the bottom last week. Price or USDT dominance came right back into that, wicked into it, and that caused the big liquidation. All right, and that was a few hours ago at this point, right? This happened Yeah, this happened basically quite a while ago. 12, 16 hours ago. So the question now remains, is this it for USDT dominance? Or is it going to make another spike up into these 5%, 5.1% levels that we've also had marked for quite a long time here on the charts, lads? I think it's a very real possibility. It does come and take this 5% level. This doesn't really change my overall stance and my overall bullishness on the market. It's pretty nuts how every single week, like remember last week when we had Elon and Trump fight or get into a hissy match with each other, and that caused a sell-off. That's what caused USDT dominance to spike up here to 4.98% last week. A few days later, everyone forgets that even happens. And then yesterday, Elon Musk comes out and says he went too far attacking Trump, and everything was fine. So we've just seen, like, every week there's just something to cause a sell-off, only for it to immediately come back. Okay, so this escalation and this conflict between Israel and Iran right now, it's not really changing my overall bullish bias on things, okay? But obviously, I mean, if they launch another attack or something, and I mean, God forbid, there's a bunch of casualties, the markets don't like that, all right? The markets don't like that at all. So that's why I wouldn't be too surprised to see another spike in here to 5.1% for USDT dominance. This is like prime buying opportunity. If you had FOMO over the past few days when USDT dominance was down here at 4.5%, if you had FOMO with Ethereum up here at 2,800 the past few days, let's wait for this chart to load. I don't know what's wrong with my internet today. Come on now. We're doing a live stream. We need fast internet. What is this? While we're waiting for TradingView to load the Ethereum chart, let's go take a look at what's happening in our live chat right now. This is ridiculous. Boycott TradingView. What the heck is going on? Shout out to FBS. What is going on, FBS? He says he saw the gaming video. He likes the thesis. What about Floki? Floki's a good pick as well. I mean, I think there's just a lot of trades out there. So if I left a coin out, it's not because it's not good or anything. Shout out to Fiat Hater. Shout out to Colebrook Capital. We got Dice 550 as well as Armzilla and Pot Spam as well as All Day Dre. What is going on? Namoa, what is up, Namoa? Says, hi, Connor. In times like this, I mostly look out for your content, the best in these moments. Oh, thank you for the support. And we'll take a look at those memes later on in the stream. Kaido King, what is up, Kaido King? Colebrook Capital says it looks like a double bottom. Yeah, for sure. But anyways, we got the chart to load back up now. So like I was saying, if you had FOMO over the past few days with Ethereum up here at 2,800, all right, if you had FOMO with Bitcoin over the past few days at 110K, if you had FOMO with XRP up here at $2.30, we can go through every single chart, right? It doesn't matter, right? If you had FOMO on Tau up here at 440, 450, and now you're scared and you want to like leave, you're doing it all wrong, okay? So let's go back to USDT dominance. A lot of fear out there. Obviously now this has come down a bit from 4.90% again. But what I want everyone to understand basically is I think that overall these are good levels to buy. And I think 5 to 5.1, potentially we go up to like 5.2% on a spike up, like very strong levels. And overall, I'm still expecting the path that this takes, whether it be from here or whether it be from here at 5%, I'm still expecting to move back down to at least 3.8% and ideally hit the macro target at 3.3%, okay? So yeah, in general, I mean, if you had FOMO the past few days and like you're scared now and not doing anything, like this is when you should action. This is when you should have FOMO, not when prices are super high and pumped up. General stuff. But yeah, for USDT dominance, this could be it. Could be a double top. Maybe Iran strikes back and it spikes up here to 5%. we'll wait and see what happens. We'll play it by year, essentially. And also, we finally have some action on the BVOL, the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index. It's finally starting to move after just going down continuously forever. So we have some real volatility coming back into the market now. Also, looking at the total charts. So the total itself, the total market cap, it did not retest its bottom fully. It did come to the fib here. Okay, it did come and hit the 78.6% fib at 3.17 trillion. And we saw a big reaction, bullish reaction from there. And for the total, I'm mainly actually looking at the total 2, because the total 2 still has this level that hasn't hit yet. And this would really be major confluence for a reason to be really bullish. We got some super chats rolling in, guys. I'll look at these in a moment. Let me just get through the total 2. So what would be really bullish, in my opinion, for the total 2 would be a move down here to 1.08 trillion to 1.07 trillion, the money area here. Marked out with this label. So this is on the 6 day. It's also on the 1 day. But yeah, this is a level that was left behind last week when Elon Musk and Donald Trump got into their little fight together. Right? This level got front ran. And this would complete a pretty nice triple drive if it were to hit over the next few days. And this is at 1.08 to 1.07 trillion. And that would line up pretty well, in my opinion, with like 5% on USDT dominance. That would be pretty nice confluence to see a bottom if it's not already in. But I definitely would be prepared for another spike for these particular levels to get filled. It seems like a very good approach at the current moment in time amidst all the fear. Now, I will say, so let's look at some of these headlines and some of this news. Actually, let me answer the super chats, guys. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats. We got a super chat from Thomas Kefe. Thank you, Thomas, my man. And he says, thank you for taking the time to cover Caspa once in a while. It's appreciated. God bless, my friend. For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely look at Caspa from time to time. And we'll look at it in a moment. But for now, let's see what Dice550. Dice550 said, saw your gaming vid. What about Degen Arena? So I'm not too super familiar, up to date on Degen Arena, to be honest with you. And let's see. If I search it up on CoinGecko and it doesn't pop up, man, like, that's probably why I don't know about it. So, yeah, I don't even know where to find any information on Degen Arena, Dice550. But if you can supply some information, that'd be cool. If you want me to look at it. But for now, we're going to keep the live stream moving along. So yeah, to summarize, 1.08 to 1.07 trillion on the total 2 would be money. And here's the total 3. At this point in time, if we're not bottomed here, if this isn't an inverse head and shoulders, probably going to hit this quarterly open on a flush, because altcoins are going to get smashed again harder if we're going to flush again. So that could cause the total 3 to put in a pretty violent move down 6-7% to 770 billion. But in general, the main majors I would be watching, right, in my opinion, the most important ones to be watching would be USDT dominance to 5% and the total 2 to 1.08, 1.07 trillion. Those are probably the two I would put the most emphasis and focus on over the weekend, today on Friday into the weekend. Those are the main two I would have alerts set and ready to rock and roll on, and be able to action your plan if those do actually get hit. Anyways, in regards to these headlines, so this is from just a few hours ago, not even 3 hours ago. President Trump calls Israel's attack on Iran excellent and says there's more to come, a lot more. Okay, this was like 3 hours ago. So it sounds like there's going to be some escalation out there. I don't really know, man. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm not a war expert. This is just what's being propagated on Twitter. So it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great, right? If they're going to retaliate and then the other side's going to retaliate and it blows up and more people or more countries get involved, like it's going to get, I don't know, man. So yeah, that's why maybe we're going to flush down lower. Now look, I do know some people, boots on the ground over there, and essentially they're expecting things to slow down over the weekend and then pick up next week with more retaliation and things like that next week and a slow weekend. So maybe markets are green this weekend. This is all, I don't really, this is just me talking. This is what somebody told me that's over there. So whatever. I'm mainly looking at the charts. Yeah, maybe it will slow down over the weekend and pick up again next week. All I know is Trump said there's going to be more bombs being dropped. So that doesn't really sound too bullish right now for the crypto market. Also, this is from like 6 hours ago. Israel prepares for potential full-fledged war with Iran, according to the president's office. All right, that doesn't really sound great either. A lot of fear. Notice the fear. Notice the bearishness in these headlines. Notice how it makes you feel if it spikes any emotions. That's all on purpose. We already talked about the liquidations. Also, poly market. A lot of bets being placed on this conflict. This is obviously very haram. Betting on war, gambling on war. I mean, it really doesn't get worse than that. So as you can see, Polymarket says 79% chance Iran counterstrikes Israel by tomorrow. Okay, which is today now. And let's see what else is being propagated on Polymarket. Last week, they said there was a 50-50 chance that Israel would action military conflict against Iran before July. As you can see, I personally mute on Twitter a lot of these annoying accounts because you don't need to see that. It's not conducive for anything positive. But yeah, a lot of people betting on Polymarket, like war bets. So yeah, that's the state of the world now. So basically, this is being floated around a lot right now on crypto Twitter. So there's nuclear war headlines and the markets are down. So let's say nuclear war doesn't happen and you don't have any exposure, you don't buy anything, you're sidelined, right? If you do buy and nuclear war doesn't happen, then you're going to make a lot of money. But if it does happen, then it doesn't matter anyway. So it's really not nice to think about, but it's obvious. I don't think it's going to happen, right? I don't see any nukes being dropped personally. I think this is really all theater. This is all meant to divide, distract, make people occupied with some made-up BS. Obviously, it's real, but when I say made-up, I mean manufactured by guys in suits in a boardroom. I think that's very real. Okay, so, yeah. And on other news, Coinbase is doing some really big pushes with Base. They also launched a Coinbase One card offering 4% on all Bitcoin purchases. And they also have integrated like every Base token into the Coinbase app, and you can trade on DEXs as well. So the whole thesis for like meme coins getting listed on Coinbase is out the window now, which was a main selling point of some big memes. But Aerodrome really benefited from this recent Coinbase news, as you can see. Right, came out of the buy zone at 50 cents and it spiked up to 70, currently trading at 62 cents. Treble still holding 50 cents. Currently trading for 50 cents. Okay, so overall, Base is still holding up really well compared to a lot of the rest of the market, and it's mainly these Base DeFi plays, which is great to see because this is stuff that we've been interested in. This is stuff that we've been watching. This is stuff that we've been trading, investing into. So it's always nice when you pick the narrative that holds up the best, that pumps and then doesn't sell off as hard as the other narratives. And right now, Base DeFi, Base Utility is really hot because of the recent Coinbase news that they've integrated they've integrated all these base coins into the actual Coinbase exchange application, making it really easy for anybody to go ahead and buy them. So that's pretty exciting, and it's a bit of a change of pace from the negative war headlines that we've been talking about mainly. Let's go look at alts. So there is a bearish scenario at play here. All right, so we have Tau basically testing support once more. Now this support level has been tested multiple times at $350. And we have another test today. There's many coins that are pretty similar, right? Caspa breaking down further. So the bearish scenario would be the fact that supports keep on getting tested and eventually they will break. Now look, this could happen, and if this were to happen, Tau would slide pretty steep in my opinion. It would probably slide back down into the $260 to $240 levels. This is this ultra bearish scenario if we're gonna like have a big spike down. It's just understand, it doesn't take a genius market analyst or a genius trader to look at this chart. This is the daily time frame, and understand that this support level is getting tested a lot, and this is a key pivot point. All right, this is a level where price has reversed many times. So if this does end up failing, that would mean a pretty major breakdown, okay? And like I said, it would probably mean a move down into the 260s or 240s or lower levels marked on Tau. So yes, potentially this is the bottom here, and we're just going to double bottom and we're going to blast off. But I think it would be a disservice to every single person watching this live stream right now, as well as the replay, if I didn't go over this scenario, because it's real, right? And this would also line up with USDT dominance spiking up to 5.1%. That would mean that these support levels get broken through. All right, so on something like Tau, that could, like I said, mean a move into like the 260s. And remember, that would also coincide likely with USDT dominance coming up here to 5%, 5.1%. And there's many other examples. For example, XRP, I would love to see XRP finish this move. Okay. By the way, look at the Monday high sweep. Most altcoins, if you just traded the Monday high deviation short this week, that would have been the only trade you needed to take. But anyways, I would love to see this move complete on XRP. I'm looking for a move down here into this daily demand zone. Okay, near $2. We do have a potential triple drive in place. We have one. We have two bottoms. A third lower low would be beautiful, okay? That's right around $2. What also is happening at this level? It's also the golden pocket of this overall swing high to swing low. All right, if we take the swing high, drag it to the swing low, and look at the golden pocket, it's right there at $2.01. All right, so I would love to see something like this on XRP, and that does mean slightly lower here. It could get ugly on a liquidation, but as long as the daily doesn't lose this level, that could be it, okay? So XRP near $2 looks like a go. Let's look at Doge. So Doge has come back down to its recent bottom from last week when the market sold off with Elon and Trump fighting with each other verbally. Little hissy fit argument. At this point in time, right, maybe this is the double bottom. Maybe it's that easy. Just buy the war headline. Every time we've had a sell-off because of news every single week recently, it's immediately rebounded. So maybe that happens again. It's tough to say, but this one does seem more serious. But yeah, if we're going to get USDT dominance down or up at 5%, that means another lower low on Doge. Okay. I don't really see it coming back to 13.12. That would mean like a really big, like even further black swan, because we've already had a black swan today. So what I would be looking for is this level on Doge at the quarterly open. 16 cents basically, 16 to 17 cents. Maybe it comes into this 2-day demand, but really it's all in the same levels. Very, very close to one another. And remember how we just took the XRP Fibonacci? We can do the same here on Doge. All right, so we're at the golden pocket, and the 78.6 would be at 15.7 cents in this 2-day demand zone that I just drew out. So that looks like a pretty good level for Doge if we're going to head lower. And of course, you want to make sure you match that up with the majors, the total liquidity charts. Yeah, I mean, we can keep going through these. AVAX has this daily demand zone that keeps on producing bounces. If this loses it, we are potentially going to see a move. We are potentially going to see a move back below $16. And anything below $16 is like an obvious buy. It depends on where the majors would be when that happens and lines up. Axie. So here is AXS. And we want to look at the spot chart here. So on the spot chart for Axie, I know in that video I made today, I said, okay, yeah, like I don't really see it coming back into the green. I'm going to change my stance and say it could very well come back into the green. But we already have this buy area. We've had it for a long time. And this is still the area. The refined level, remember, is at $2. It's like $2 to $1.80. That's the refined liquidity level on Axie. And that would be a great spot if we did sell off into it to look for buys. But yeah, we can keep going through these, but I want to see what you guys have to say right now. So anyways, Namoa was asking about SPX as well as UFD. And SPX, so selling off quite hard after trying to, push to new all-time highs. Did have some pretty high candle closures. However, it cannot sustain the momentum with the war escalation. So this is a pretty bad look at the moment in time because this breakout failed. Resulting in, this weekly. Look at this wick right now on the weekly. If this doesn't fill, that's really not a good look at all. But anyways, on the daily time frame for SPX, still hasn't come to the Monday low yet. So if we're going to dip down further, look for the Monday low in this trend line. And yeah, it pumped up so high that it wasn't able to reach the Monday low. But it's still down 23% from those highs. But I still would be looking for below $1.21. And UFD's just been in this range for a long time. It's just been in this bottom range. Right, just this bottom range. Pretty lackluster, but it's just a range and it's at the range lows. So that's really all there is to say about it. Ideally, eventually, it will break out from the range high, but it's at the range lows now. And that's kind of all there is to it. Demand here, 2 cents to 1.6 cents. Anyways, Namoa, thanks for your support. And let's also look at Caspa for our guy Thomas Cafe. So Kaz, here's our spot chart. Perps chart is this one. So Perps chart, I'd say we're at least going down here to 7.1 cents. And the quarterly open on many charts right now is holding liquidity. Okay, there's a level on Caspa at 6.4 cents. Now, Caspa never actually hit my... Caspa never actually hit my level that I wanted. Back over here in March. Okay, Caspa never came below 5 cents. I was waiting for it. It never happened. Will it happen from here? Things would have to get super ugly. At this point in time, I would be looking for the quarterly open in the 6 cent levels. It's also a daily time frame demand zone. Or a 3-day time frame demand zone, I should say. So a lot of liquidity is by the quarterly open for many coins. Link, really not interested in. Render. Triple bottom potentially. $230 would be, it's asking for a lot. I don't think we get this. So I'm going to have to say daily demand at the 88.6 looks like a go on render. $2.84. Add the 88.6 daily time frame demand. Match it up with the majors. Match it up with USDT dominance when it hits that 5.1. Match it up with the total 2 at 1.07, 1.08. And that should produce some fruitful results if we do get that move over the weekend. Shout out to Fiendsta. What is up, Fiendsta? Alex Johnson asking about Big Time. So Big Time, total shitcoin in the gaming scene. But they like to pump this shitcoin, that's for sure, from time to time. So Big Time, weekly, quarterly open. Like I was saying, the quarterly open has a lot of juicy levels. Big Time quarterly, 5 cents, 4.8 cents, if given. Let's see, it's all good. If people viewed war as a driver of financial opportunity, they might overcome fear and continue investing in crypto, recognizing its potential during times of global instability. Yeah, unfortunately, people really don't like to think like that. They watch the TV screen, man, and they listen and they believe whatever is said on that magic black box conveniently placed in every single person's... It used to be every single person's house, but now we all have it in, the palm of our hands with a phone. So most people just believe what's written on the screen. So what you said, it's all good. It would be nice if people thought like that, but it's just not going to happen, man. They cannot, their minds cannot comprehend that more exists out there. Let's see. We have a question from Iverson Alvarez. He's planning to invest $2,000 of his savings into crypto. He's thinking about putting $600 into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Any suggestion for the 400? Well, I would say that Bitcoin's trading at an extreme premium. Unless you plan to hold for, like, I don't know, at least minimum, like years, 2-3 years minimum. You shouldn't buy Bitcoin at these prices. But anyways, that's for you to decide what to do with the other 400. Totally depends on you and your goals and what you would be happy with. But I would probably mainly, first thing I would do is buy an AI coin that you have strong conviction in and hold it until like we have another AI pump. And you can also use a stop loss too. I think that's a smart idea. Try and get back in if you get stopped out. Thoughts on Domi Online? High risk gaming, low cap with major potential. That's my thoughts on Domi Online. It's basically bottomed too. It's been at this bottom for a long time, right? Yeah. You know, very near the bear market bottom. High risk. Needs a gaming season comeback to do well. And we got Bartland. He says, hi, I hope you're well. What do you think about Rio? Greetings from Croatia. So Rio is trying to break out of the range high before seeing a rejection back down to the middle of the range. It's holding up a lot better than many other charts currently. And the quarterly looks like the place to be if you want to try and snipe a bottom at 20 cents. If the sell-off isn't it, looks like it came right into the golden pocket. It did come right to the golden pocket at the monthly open. So Rio looks a lot better than a lot of coins. Talking about RWA, coins like Pendle are doing really well. Or sorry, not necessarily. They were doing really well. Now it's breaking down. All right, now it's lost this channel from the bottom in April. So what was doing super well just broke a major daily time frame bullish trend line, and it's now looking not so hot. So that's really not a good look. And remember the bearish scenario I was talking about with Tau keeps on bouncing off that support. What if it's going to lose it? This is an example of losing support. Another example of losing support would, or this similar thing, is Pixel. Okay, Pixel, let's go look at that. Remember this Pendle chart? And then if you look at Pixel here, broke the trend line, bounce back, bearish retest, rejection, right? Now down here at 3.6 cents. So that is potentially shaping up right now on Pendle with the breakdown of this channel. We have to keep a watchful eye on this. Colbert Capital, he says the smell of fear in the air means buy, buy, buy. Absolutely. Like I said, if you had FOMO when prices were up here over the past few days, right, and you withheld your FOMO, right, you abstained, you didn't give in to the temptation, now would be a logical time to, you know, put in some orders. I would still not buy everything because there's a very real chance that USDT dominance comes to 5%, but we'll see. Okay, we have a comment from Mitchell. And Mitchell said, my wife is Iranian. She said the news over there said that Iran already sent rockets to Israel, but it will be a few days until they reach. So I think price will go down. All right, so that's another kind of insider information that you need to have boots on the ground to get, right? Because remember that the mainstream media, they'll say one thing. They'll say what they want you to believe. They'll say what they want you to hear, but they won't tell you the full story. So thank you to Mitchell for giving us some information from his wife, who is Iranian, saying that they've launched rockets and they're going to land in a few days. That would make sense and wouldn't really surprise anyone, I don't think, given the seriousness right now of the conflict. So watch for 5% to 5.1% on USDT dominance. Bullish on Parade said the aliens will stop it. They're definitely watching. I don't think it will get serious enough for them to stop it, though. Shout out to Renum19. He's still buying the dips. Love to hear that. We got Messini with a joke. Messini says, hello, everyone. I'm going to launch Missile Protocol shortly. JK, hope y'all doing good. That's funny. Reaper, how are you feeling about Treble? I'm bullish on Treble, right? Still holding 50 cents. Back up to 51 cents, depending on which pool you're looking at. But if we look at here, it's holding up very well. And with the news about Base being integrated into Coinbase itself, it's very bullish for a project like Treble and everything that Treble has on their roadmap upcoming. So I like Treble Swap, and it's holding up really well. And Delusion Clan, thoughts on TARS? TARS AI, TAI. So yeah, it broke down like every other coin. Lost the trend line. I think I went over this when I was looking at TARS a few streams ago, saying, just looking at my TA, right, I circled all the trend line touches. And now, as you can see, price really lost the trend line, and it's filling all the blank space here. All right, there's a lot of blank space that was left behind on this really big inefficiency that was created over here in April. Everyone gets super excited, but you have to understand, like, this coin, I've said it a million times, they have better marketing than their actual product. They rely fully on marketing. They rely on most people to see a pump like this and be like, oh my God, this thing's going to dollars, multiple dollars. Because they see the pump like this, only for it to form this big distribution and get people to just get chopped up into a million pieces and provide exit liquidity. Which is why I held my stance on TARS. Yes, I made sponsored videos on it. Yes, I clearly said they were sponsored. Yes, 90% of the videos on TARS are sponsored by people out there, and they don't tell you it's sponsored, which is probably why most people are so bullish on this thing, because they see every other YouTuber talk about it. But these YouTubers are slime balls, and they don't say that they're taking payment to make the video. I'll tell you straight up, yeah, they paid me. I still don't like the coin that much. That's the difference here. Okay, so I'm not really too surprised to see it fill this blank space. It comes at a time where the entire market is going down, yes, but I think a lot of people got sucked into believing this was the best thing since sliced bread because of this big violent pump, only to buy late in this distributive range to now be down on their buy. So, yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on TARS AI. I still don't think it's a great AI coin by any means. I know some people might not want to hear that, but if they would open their eyes and see what's actually going on, well, maybe they would understand where that thought that I have is coming from on the project. Shout out to Adrian Kent. Recon Runner is asking about Near Protocol, thinking about consolidating into Tau. So yeah, Near, another AI coin, right? It's really filling this. Remember, before this breakdown happened, right? This looked like a great, oh, look at this trend line. Now it's really filling all this blank space, right? Let's put it side by side. With Tau here. Okay, so Tau on the right, Near Protocol on the left. Now look, me personally, I don't own any Near and I own a lot of Tau. So immediately I would say, yeah, I think that's a smart move, but I might be personally biased. Okay? The question is, debating consolidating my Near into Tau. So let's chart them against each other. So this is Near charted against this is stock data. So we need near USDT / tau USDT. There we go. All right, so this is near versus tau, and near has been underperforming tau since July of 2024. This is the weekly time frame. Near is in over a 1 year downtrend versus tau. All right, so basically holding near continues to get you less and less tau over time. So this chart is a pretty obvious no-brainer that near is not better than tau. Holding near, you get less and less tau over time. In July 2024, you would have gotten 2% of a tau for one near coin. Now here we are in June 2025, and you're getting 0.006 of a tau coin for one near coin. That's like over a 300% decrease. So yeah, tau over near all day. And no bullish divergence to speak of. Well, maybe on the daily there is. But hey, I'm more bullish on tau than near. Smash up the like. Smash up the like button, everyone. And somebody asked, how can we find CME gaps on charts? So to find CME gaps, you need to look at the CME chart itself. All right. Now the CME chart for Bitcoin, it's BTC 1 exclamation point. I'm pretty sure ETH has one nowadays as well. Yeah, ETH futures CME here. It's ETH 1 exclamation point. This will bring you to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange chart. That is what CME stands for, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. That's where your futures contracts are traded, right? You can trade pork, you can trade corn, you can trade soybeans, you can trade gold. You can also trade Bitcoin and Ethereum futures at the CME. So that's how you find the CME gap. And now all you do is look for the gap, and it's here. Where did price gap and not fill it? That's how you find the CME gap. And also we have a question asking about Hedera Hashgraph HBAR. So HBAR now has made a new low. And it's coming. So HBAR is a coin that never hit its key level on April 7th. Right, that would have been down here at like 11 cents. It never hit. Okay, instead it bottomed out at 12.5 cents. All right, so on the daily, this is daily demand. Price is in daily demand right now. Perfect triple drive in play, but not really any bullish div here. It looks enticing. It does look enticing here. It really just depends on if they're going to send more missiles and bomb each other more to cause prices to go lower. Because this was the key level from April that never hit. So maybe it wants it now. That's a big drop, right? We're talking a 25% dip. It's possible, but it's doubtful, right? It's definitely something that can happen. But, over the past 2-3 days, this thing's already down 18%. Is it going to crash another 25? That's asking for a lot from the market. And I'm not sure that USDT dominance to up here would be enough to cause these coins to go down 25-30%. It might be. All right. So I would just be looking whenever this decides to spike up and take this 5%. Wherever HBAR is, because here's the thing, we can pull the fib, and the 88.6 would be at 13 cents. right? This would be another 11%. You know, that's more realistic, and that would be at the 88.6, and it would be a double bottom still that price can potentially reverse out of. Moby, a triple drive is typically when you see 3 spikes into a supply or demand zone causing a reversal. All right, the triple drive and the head and shoulders, they're the most reliable patterns and probably the only higher time frame patterns you need. All right, so a triple drive would be like 1, 2, 3. You can draw the trend line and typically it will reverse. And obviously an inverse head and shoulders would be left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then price breaks the neckline and goes. Those are really the only 2 patterns you need in crypto. Let's see, we got William O'Leary. William says, if you're selling digital assets because of a war, you deserve to be shaken out. You don't belong in the investing space. Facts. That's facts right there. If you're selling out of fear right now, yeah, I'm not sure what's going through your noggin. So we had a question, buy zone for SUI. See if I can spot the pivot. Yeah, I was already thinking this because of this on the daily. Golden pocket at 270. And then the quarterly, which again, it's a huge ask to see a 25-30% dip on these coins. But every chart that I look at has something of interest 20 to 25% lower. Quarterly open, higher time frame demand, hidden liquidity, 20-25% lower. It's there on like every chart I've looked at. It's a big ask, but it could happen. Otherwise, we just want to match it up with USDT dominance in the total 2, like we discussed at the beginning of the live stream. And that could just be a 10% dip into this level on SUI, right at the golden pocket at $2.70. And Colebrook Capital, he says 100% spot on. It's all about distraction. So yeah, Colebrook Capital, I see that you're very, very bullish right now, and I love the bullish energy. So it seems like you're convinced that this move on USDT dominance to 4.92% was it. And it very well could be. And I love the optimism because we've seen every single week, like I said earlier, there's been some type of fear news event that causes USDT dominance to spike up, that causes altcoins to spike down, and then a few days later, everything is fine and everything is pumping again. But then a new week starts and we have another fear event. So, yeah, Colebrook Capital, I love the optimism. I'm curious what's giving you the conviction, if you want to share anything. Mike Miller says, crypto YouTubers be like, this is your last chance to buy alts for the 50th time. Yeah, I mean, anybody who makes crypto content has been saying that, basically. This market's been an absolute doozy, to say the least. Shout out to Chad Anderson. And let's see, Rainer asking about Tau subnets. I'll make a more detailed video about updated subnets and things. Let's see. Shout out to Julia O. Shout out to Abdul Rahman. Sorry, I think Abdul, not shout out to Julia O. Abdul is asking about Julia O's what's your opinion. Abdul, I have no idea what you're talking about when you say that. Shout out to Rahul Guru. People asking about guns. Gunzilla. So this is a big gaming token, right? Alex Becker and the rest of the lads are all seed investors. All the C2Fi boys. Just launched about 2 months ago in the start of April. So a brand new chart. I don't even want to know what this is going to look like. Looks like coin or crypto rank is making you pay now to see basic information, which is a joke. But the vesting is what I want to see. So 85% of tokens are locked. And in 16 days, $25 million. So it looks like every month, 25 to 30 million US dollars is going to be released of this token. And the market cap is 16 million. Am I seeing that correctly? Yeah, so I mean, I already knew the tokenomics were not going to favor retail at all here. Like literally. The floating market cap is 16 million, fully diluted is 267, and in 16 days they're going to release $25 million of tokens. So this is going to over double the market cap. I mean, like this is, they need a market maker to artificially pump the token price. That's the only way it can go up. There's not going to be enough demand for this thing organically to pump. It's all going to be driven by manipulation. So it's really tough to say, man. Maybe you're negative 0.27 you buy, right? But like, what else do we have to go off of? Or negative 618, which it's at right now. Right? It already hit the negative 0.27. It's already at the negative 618. I don't love this coin at all. Maybe if I was Alex Becker and got to buy it at like half of a penny, I'd be happy and shilling you it, but that's not the case. So, you know, it can't go negative to the negative 618 fib at 0.003. So I would say probably, you know, gonna come down here below this low. Look for it to form some kind of bottom or base, and if you want to buy it then, that would be the time. They're probably going to artificially pump it. And if a gaming season does happen, they're really going to artificially pump it. But with tokenomics that look like this, 16 mil market cap, 267 million fully diluted. In 15 days, they're going to release 25 mil tokens, and then every month they're going to release like 30 million, 37, 35 million. 40 million, 53 million. The unlocks just keep on getting bigger and bigger, right? 63 million, 72 million dollars, 81 million dollars, 90 million dollars, 99 million dollars, 107. Obviously, this is a year from now, but you can see how just over time this thing will be diluted to zero. That's Gunzilla. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Smash up the like button if you did enjoy the stream. Remember, everyone, it's Friday. We got war headlines. We got Israel attacking Iran. We have the markets tanking. We have $1 billion liquidated from crypto in the past 24 hours, mainly on the long side. $1 billion liquidated on the long side in the past 24 hours. So with that, we have a lot of fear in the air. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have a lot of doubt. And Bitcoin is still holding above 100K. We still have the weekly fair value gap down here. 98K is a level. Right? Other than that, there's the CME gap down there by the yearly open, but that's asking for a lot. On ETH, we're still holding our range. We still have the 2200 level, and way below we still have the 2K level. We want to match it up with majors. I'm really not expecting USDT dominance to go on an aggressive uptrend and cause a catastrophic bear market at this point in time just yet. I think it likely goes down first. So with that, if we do see USDT dominance come up here to 5% to 5.2%, that's a level to take longs. That's a level to buy whatever you want, whatever you have your eye on. Same thing with the total 2 at 1.08, 1.07 trillion. Okay, match it up for confluence. We went over a lot of coins today. We went over a lot of possible scenarios. I hope you guys were charting on your own and you're prepared so that you don't have analysis paralysis, which whatever move happens next in the market, right? If we go down, you already have your plan in place, you execute. If you pump, you already have your plan in place, you do what your plan said. It's that simple, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, smash up the like button. I hope you're all safe out there in the world. The tensions are high, the fear is high, but just do what you can do to control your situation, right? Focus on what you can control. And probably like all other times we've seen, the news will have blown over by next week, and hopefully Joyful June will resume. But as of now, Joyful June has come to an abrupt pause. So we'll ask DGen Ping himself what he thinks about Joyful June going forward. But in the meantime, that's all I got for today. Appreciate you all being here on this fine Friday morning. And I really appreciate when you guys hit the like button. So please smash up the like button. Appreciate the support. We got pretty low number of likes right now. I'm looking at that like counter. It could really use a boost from everyone still watching the stream. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay up to date for all of the future content that I will create here. Hope you enjoyed this one. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire, and I'll see you in the next video.